Hello, my gossipers. Jax West from the Stephen Avery Project. I am Gossip, Justice with Jax. I go for a morning hike on the weekdays at 10 a.m. And then sometimes I have to run errands. Debbie is first. Hello. Um, so I just got home 5 minutes ago. I had wanted to be home in plenty of time to take a shower and eat my lunch, but that didn't happen. So I'm a sweaty, yucky mess. And I'm eating watermelon right now. Hello, Amanda. And Christy, as I'm gonna be um gross and talk to y'all with food in my mouth. So I'm on today to talk about the rally we have coming up on July 25th at Waupun Correctional, where Stephen Avery is currently in prison for. What is he in prison for? For being set up by Sandy Morris and her friends and framed for the attempted rape on Penny Bernstein and serving 18 years, even though Andy Colborn had been told years prior that they had the wrong man and didn't write a report on it. And then Stephen got to taste freedom for 2 years and begin a wrongful conviction lawsuit against those who framed him. And they then had to up the ante since he was suing for $36 million, $2 million for every year he was wrongfully incarcerated. And so to make sure it goes away, they framed him for a murder. An alleged murder. Hello, China. And Amanda. Oh, first ever live. Nice to meet you too, Amanda. So, all right. So, I've talked about the rally before, but I'll go over it again for those like Amanda, first time that they're here on a live and not Memorex. So this rally came out of a couple of weeks ago. I went up to Manitowoc and I met with Kim Ducat, who is Stephen Avery's cousin. Her father is brothers with Alan Avery, so that's her connection. And she is in both Making a Murderer and has been a long time, always supporter of Stephen Avery. And she has never been a person involved in any of the bullshit that surrounds the case and the drama that the Avery family brings into this case. Kim is just somebody who believes in Stephen's innocence and wants him out. Period. And then there's Courtney Skinner, who is a Manitowoc resident, and her brother was raped and murdered when he was only 2. And a lot of the same players are involved in Courtney's brother's case. And Courtney and Kim have connected due to both of the cases and have become fast friends. And they had attended rallies that the Avery family had put on at the courthouse previously. And they were treated like dog shit because you have to be part of their clique. And here I go eating again. Sorry, I have to eat my lunch. So if you're not part of their clique and worship them, they ice you out. So it's not a real rally. You know, they do these these weird things that are really not in support of Steven. It's, oh, I've got friends and give me attention and money and things that they get from supporters. So I said, oh, you guys want a rally? I actually organized the first June one before Carla kicked me out. And since then, I'm like super activist down here in the Chicagoland area, and I have organized a cajillion rallies, protests, that kind of stuff. And actually, one of my bosses just assigned me yesterday that he wants me to organize a vigil for Tuesday next week. So I've got less than a week's notice, and I have to organize this vigil. And I've already got a state senator, a state representative, a congressman, so that are going to speak at it. So anyway, all right, let's schedule one. And then I'm like, July 9th, what date are we? We're July 8th. Steven's birthday is tomorrow. So I'm like, Steven's birthday is the 9th, but that's really not enough time. I mean, I know choosing the 25th, pushing it to the end of July, still isn't a whole lot of time for people to make plans to be there. So I'm not anticipating a huge showing. But it's like, you call this the first annual, because we can do this now every year. But I'm hoping we never have to do it again, because I'm hoping Steven is free and there's no need for a rally in support of Steven. Hold on, let me scroll back to see what people are saying. Christy asks, how do I feel about psychics doing readings on murder cases? Now, I'm not somebody who's, I guess, a believer, you would say. But I'm always interested to hear what they have to say. You don't know. I don't know. We've had it before. Now, we had somebody that was actually in this group, I may have gossiped before, who did a reading or whatever, but then it just evolved into that person wanting to start their own Facebook group, and then taking all the people from this group to go to that group instead for all. So it just got all weird. But if people want to make a thread in gossip talking about, psychics and links to things that they've seen from psychics and whatnot, go for it. The way I look at those things is, if somebody doesn't like that, Christy, they don't have to read that thread. It's really very simple. If it's not something you agree with or have an interest in, don't read it. You don't have to make a post in there saying this is stupid, I can't believe anybody would believe this. Just skip it. Life's too short. You don't need to be angry about everything. You think Bobby Dassey is innocent? Then don't go into threads that are saying he's guilty. Don't get so angry about somebody's opinion. I welcome people's opinions and theories here. The only thing we don't entertain is that Steven or Brendan are guilty, because they are not. So we're not going to have threads that do that. That's for the family to do. The lovely family that likes to hang out with guilters. Okay, people talking about the medium Sonia, in front of a courthouse on a Saturday when nobody's there. Hi, Carol and Anne. Jennifer says, I still don't understand why Stephen wouldn't want to rally. It would be because I'm doing it. It's because people have convinced Stephen that I am bad and that I'm making money off of his name. If anybody wants to show me where I've made money, I'd love to see it. So Stephen is now. When I used to talk to Stephen and visit with him, he talked all kinds of shit about his family. He didn't like any of them. He knew Carla was stealing from him. But for Stephen, he would say, at the end of the day, she's family. Now, she's family who hasn't visited him since 2016. She's family who doesn't talk to him on a regular basis because he doesn't want to talk to her. So Carla is just so obsessed with Stephen Avery Project. She wanted that Facebook page so bad. So much so when she made her own, she calls it the Avery Dassey Project, using the word project. Because, you know, it's trying to, when people search for Stephen Avery Project, her page will come up as well, so she can try and snag the people. Same thing with Foul Play. Foul Play was just Foul Play once they did their split from Rubber Ducky. And then they changed their name to MAM Foul Play. I don't know if that's what it is currently. Trying to steal people from gossip. It's also dumb. You know, they want to have their own groups, What do you have to try and take people from the groups that I run if I'm so bad? Carla, for years, she and her minions will look at, they'll go in and look at the listings of the people that are in the group, and they'll private message them and tell them if they're a true supporter, they shouldn't be in that group. Or they'll block them from their group just for being in this one. I know Carla has been messaging members from here, and everybody say hello to Carla because she's watching. So, like one of the last videos I did when I was talking about Dolores being in a home, she then started messaging people who had commented on that live and sending them a picture of Dolores that doesn't prove anything. Just having a picture of Dolores doesn't prove where she's at or when the picture was taken, or that she doesn't live in a home that, you know, being in a old folks home or whatever you want to call it, it's not a prison. You can leave. You know, it's assisted living, not prison. So she has to reach out to everybody and try and prove that, no, Dolores isn't in a home. And then she said, I can't remember if she said she does or we do. We take care of our own, or I take care. If you take care of your own, why all the GoFundMes? Why do you need a GoFundMe to pay for your family Christmas dinner and Thanksgiving dinner? Why do you need a GoFundMe because Dolores' refrigerator breaks? Why do you need a GoFundMe when you want somebody to pay for Dolores's medication? Why do you need a GoFundMe to put rails in Dolores's bathroom so she can bathe and get off the toilet by herself? Why does Sandra have a GoFundMe for when her basement floods? We take care of our own. You take care of your own by taking money from fans of Making a Murderer. That's how you do that. So, getting back to what you said, Jennifer, it's all because they've convinced Steven I'm bad. So, I completely believe if you were to email Steven and say something to him about this rally, if he was to respond to you, because he doesn't write back to many people, he would say he absolutely doesn't want this rally. Oh, well. You haven't missed much, Carol. Yes, Jen. Thank you very much. I had a good holiday. Hope you did as well. Yep, Sonia, I believe Bobby did it. Christy says, I don't understand why the governor said Brendan would have to register as a sex offender if pardoned, and that he hasn't served at least 5 years of his sentence. Help me understand. Oh, yeah, I'm making Jen hungry for watermelon. It is so good after it's 90 degrees here currently, and I did an hour hike outside. First of all, when you're going for clemency, that means you're still guilty in the eyes of the law. So it just means Brendan would be able to get out like time served. So since one of his charges is raping Teresa, he will be a sex offender if he ever gets released. Now the 5 years, I don't do the number thing, but there's something about that you have to have served a certain portion, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it would be 5 years of the sentence. I don't know, Chrissy. I would have to look for sure. Or if there's anybody on here that knows and is smarter than I, can fill us in on that. So that's why, like, Kathleen has said she would never file for clemency for Steven. You only go for those if the person's guilty and just trying to get free, or it's death penalty. All right. I've read both Sonia and Courtney's, which I said, yeah. Courtney's saying that got a text from a great supporter who claims Steven doesn't support this rally. That's what I was just talking about, because the family tells him I'm bad. When Steven gets the money from this rally, he'll change his tune. Sonia, for the family to hate me at this point, I totally understand, because I call out their shit. If I were them, I wouldn't like me either. So, and then For supporters, they're not supporters. That's what I say. Those aren't supporters, those are fans. So those are people who just need to be connected to the family because the family are part of their favorite show. And so if the family say I'm bad, then I'm bad. And then them being defensive of their favorite characters from their favorite show, and I'm talking shit about them, of course they're not going to like me. So I get it. It's not going to change anything that I do or say. I support Steven's innocence. Steven should be free. Somebody just asked me, because I was kicked out of the WMP Justice Review, that Tammy kicked me out. And so I'm no longer a part of the Marnie Ying case. And so I was asked, am I still going to support Marnie's case? And I said, it's the same thing like Steven. I believe Marnie Yang is innocent. Just because Tammy Coling is a racist and doesn't like when I call out racism doesn't change the facts of Marnie Yang's case. Just because Stephen Avery's family are a bunch of rapists and thieves, and murderers, doesn't change the evidence that there is nothing that proves that Stephen Avery had anything to do with whatever happened to Teresa Halbach. It's that simple. It's sad because, like, Carla was the person I was friends with first, family-wise. You know, so Carla has come down here. Her and Stacy and one of her daughters came to my house. I've been to Carla's house, and her daughter drove me around in this little cart thing around their property. And I actually really liked Carla. Until I saw how she was turning this case into a way for herself to benefit from it. And just seeing the shady stuff she's done online, that when there's a Facebook group or a Facebook page and she wants it, the lengths she goes to try and take over that page. And like the things that Carla did to Curtis Bussey, who founded Stephen Avery Project. You know, that guy was the first supporter of Stephen. Did so much for Stephen's case, and now he's completely gone. Has nothing to do with the case whatsoever. Why? Because the things that Carla and her people were doing to him, all because Carla wanted to take over Stephen Avery Project and Curtis wouldn't give it to her. I mean, how crazy is that? I'm just a big enough bitch that you can't chase me off. Curtis is young, married, had a young child and another one on the way. I'm an old bat. So I'm going to do what I want. And that's that. Alright, I gotta stop eating the watermelon. Alright, let me scroll for your comment. Hello, Tara. I'm eating watermelon. Just keep swimming. Chris is gonna get some watermelon out of the fridge. China's not nice. Welcome to the Not Nice Club. Oh, so sorry about your arm, Debbie. Hope you feel better. Eating noises, I know. But I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have watermelon. Gonna make lots of slurpy noises. It's gonna get on people's last nerve. Christy, I was told she was in a home. Fact or fiction? Don't know. But I believe it. I'm reading Natalie about Steven. You would think you would want it. Yep, it's just all about being popular. Hashtag why do you need a GoFundMe? Yes, Mickey, I dislike GoFundMe. It's easy to, yeah, I don't trust it. That's why I'm going to tell you all again. If you want to donate money to Stephen Avery, you can put it directly in his commissary or give it to Kathleen Zellner. You can go to, let me pull it up over here. When you go to KathleenTZellner.com, she has highly publicized active cases. Oh, look, Melissa's right there. Melissa. Hold on a second. I'm clicking on Melissa to see what she says on. All right. So for Melissa, who. Sorry, I'm going to have to scroll back up to your guys' stuff because now I just scrolled down so I could post this link. That's Melissa. Oh, I just adore Melissa. And so Kathleen has in there the 48 hours for Melissa, the fight for Melissa and blaming Melissa. Got the briefs. Maybe I'll do a live at some point. We need to go over Melissa's case for people who haven't heard it. Okay, so let me click on. Okay, so here's Stephen. Kathleen Zellner. Kathleen Zellner's people who are watching this video, please change that picture that you have on here. It really upsets me that the guy that is standing there with Steven, that's Carl Wordsman. You can even see his tag. His name tag, Wardman. So the icky bad guy on Steven's jury. That's his fucking son right there. Manitowoc deputy. Okay. Sorry. Let me scroll back up to your comments. Okay, here's where I left off. Mickey, GoFundMe. And Steven does seem to change his mind often, though. He does. He likes me, he hates me. He likes me, he hates me. I do not put salt on my watermelon because I try, to have as low salt intake as possible. I've never done that, though. Tara thinks it's 5 years towards the end of Brendan's sentence. I'm done eating, Sonia. You're back. You never left. Debbie took a header down. Oh, my gosh. I feel ya. I fall randomly. I have really weird balance. I don't know what's wrong with me. And I'll just fall. So I feel for you. Yeah, I should have pushed my mic away while I was eating the watermelon. Leanne says they don't like your honesty. Yeah. Heather. Oh, why was I kicked out of WMP Justice Review? Is that what you're asking? Here's what happened. I am an activist, all right? I fight for human rights. During this time of Black Lives Matter, and we're not going to argue about it here because MAM gossip is for us not to argue about political things. You want to argue with me on that kind of stuff, you can find me on my activist page. But I had made a post on my page on something. I support the Black Lives Matter movement. I've gone to, I don't know how many Black Lives Matter rally. I have helped organize some of those rallies and such. And then Tammy on my personal page made a post about All Lives Matter. I don't want to get into why All Lives Matter is bad because, again, this is not the place for it. But so I will just shorten this, and All Lives Matter is a very bad thing to say. Okay? We're not fighting about it. So, two friends of mine who are Black then responded to Tammy. One was not so nice. The other one used it as a teachable moment and was trying to explain to Tammy why that is a bad thing to say and such. And Tammy just kept doubling down and doing the whole white people are killed by cops and blah, 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 and all that stupid shit. And I told her she was wrong. I responded to her that she was wrong. And next thing I know, I get an email notification that I have been removed from WMP Justice Review. So she didn't talk to me privately, personally, nothing. She just yanked me. I know from talking to Marnie's father that Tammy has informed him that I quit. So she lied. He was quite shocked and said that, he feels it is a great loss to the team to lose me and he would like to fix this. And I said, there's no fixing it. Comes down to now at this point, Tammy is a racist. She is using WMP Justice Review to make racist posts. And I mean, I got kicked out, yes. So it wasn't my choice to leave. But now that I am kicked, I don't want any part of WMP Justice Review if they're going to keep making racist posts. And now the shit has been hitting the fan this week that Tammy is now being investigated. And that there are articles. Really interesting, and sorry for people that don't care about the Marnie Yang case that we've now fallen down that rabbit hole. When we filed for Marnie back in September, October, whenever that was, there was a press conference afterwards, and so there were tables set up in a U, and so in the bottom of the U was Jed Stone, the attorney, Larry Marar, Marnie's dad, and then her 3 children. And then on the sides were those of us from the team, the investigators, me, a douchebag ex-cop guy, and so on. And when the press conference was done, the press was encouraged to go speak to any of the members of the team. And there was this one guy from the Chicago Tribune who came to me because Tammy had me billed so the little name thing in front of me at the press conference said Stephen Avery Project, because she's always trying to milk. She wants the Stephen Avery fans to go into the Marnie case. That's why she wanted me so desperately. And, and I had to keep telling her, I can't get Stephen Avery people over like that when there's nothing out there to show that Marnie is innocent. Everything shows she's guilty. So it's impossible I can't get those people. But anyway, I digress. So the Tribune guy came and talked to me for a bit, and he then said he wanted to do a story on me. From that, he found my activist page, and so I had organized a protest in Chicago, and he sent a photographer to come take a picture of me at the protest. He came to my town, met him at a Starbucks, and we did an interview. Then another time he came to my home and he brought a photographer that he wanted to watch me do a live. So he was sitting next to me while I did a live, and then the photographer was taking pictures of us. He called people to ask them about me. So he called Kathleen Zellner and talked to her about me. He called Paul Kaluzinski, Melissa's father. And he also made his way to Tammy from WMP Justice Review. And then in him looking into Tammy, that's when he found out that she had been in prison for 30 years for murder. And his focus changed to looking into Tammy. But he has never put anything out, whether it's a story on my activism or on Tammy being murderer. But now that the Lake County attorney Nairheim is going after Tammy, he has an article about Tammy, and so they're looking into the funky things that she's doing with money from her Words Matter Publishing and then her offshoot WMP Justice Review. So I don't know if there's really anything there, if Tammy has done anything wrong. Is this just because Tammy was doing stories on the corruption in Lake County? Because Lake County is known as the wrongful conviction capital of the world. There's so many wrongful convictions there. Melissa Kaluzinski and Marnie Yang are just two of the many. So is it just that? Or, I mean, is there really going to be something there? Since I have been kicked out of Justice Review, I've had people come to me telling me information on Tammy that I didn't know, which is quite alarming. Very bad things, including, and don't know if any of this is true, so let me put that out there, but Tammy was involved in another murder of a pregnant girl. Don't know if it's true. So, and there's money things that people have told me. So, I guess something I've said to like Christopher, one of the moderators here in MAM Gossip, when I've talked to him about it, I'm like, I guess I'm just gullible and I'm a bad judge of character because I keep, I was friends with Carla and then she turns out to be a piece of shit. I was friends with Tammy and now she turns out to be a piece of shit. I mean, I'm just the worst. All right, it won't let me scroll back now because I've been yapping too long. So the farthest I can scroll back is, okay, Maggie saying WMP Justice Review, part of Marnie's case. There's where I had posted the links. Heather says, okay, why were you kicked out of Justice Review? I just went over that. Okay, so maybe that's what I was just in. Melissa is still in there. I just got an email from Melissa the other day. I need to respond to her email. She's going to be switching jobs, she had said, and the heat is just horrible for her there. So she's not doing well. Natalie says, sorry, you're not doing the Marnie thing anymore. Who is racist? I'm so out of the loop. Well, hopefully I explained that. Carol Ann says it's 4:25 a.m. and I'm listening while I grid up a canvas. Ooh, what are you painting now, Carol Ann? I wish I was artistic. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler, but I so love art. Let me show you some art. So actually, I'm going tomorrow to my tattoo artist. I'm getting tattooed tomorrow. And when I organized the first June rally, and then they turned it into this big mess, and there was supposed to be this auction that oh God, I was so against this whole auction thing. But I paid my tattoo artist $250 and asked him to make me a painting of Stephen and Brendan. And a lot of times, what I do with my tattoo guy is I tell him, okay, I want a monarch butterfly or whatever. And, so I don't do here's a picture and put this on me. I give him creative license. So I just said to him, paint me a painting of Stephen and Brendan, and I was gonna, and I just said whatever $250 will get for me, so I paid him the $250, and here's what he painted. Let me grab it because it's hanging up on the wall here behind this thing. I don't know if you could see it all. So there's the top of it. See it? So I so love art. I'm covered in art. So I'm jealous, Carol Ann. Sonia, vagina bat can help Stephen escape, though. Vagina bat does whatever a vagina bat wants. Um, I'm having Jeff make me a vagina bat logo. So stay tuned for that. He hasn't done it yet. And I am toying with if I bring vagina bat to the rally. Because I'm proud of my vagina bat. Okay, trying to scroll up. I got cut off from some of your stuff. Hello, Snooze. All bats matter. Christy says, don't shoot me. CB. Okay, well, since now I've missed stuff, so I don't know who that CB stands for. Maybe Curtis Bussey, because I talked about him, the founder of Stephen Avery Project. Or the other CB that's Stephen or making a murder thing, it would be Carmen Bootwell, a girl who died and is rumored that the police had something to do with her death and that the bones found could be Carmen's and not Teresa's. That's where Corona comes from. Heather, I only joined because you were involved. I know, and that's the thing that I had said is, more than half of the people that went there to pay attention to anything on the Justice Review is because you were people from Stephen Avery Project. And it was so funny. There was a girl once who came to me, that she had found some information on Marnie's case. And then when I tell Tammy, she's all paranoid and she's like, oh, she's a plant. She's a this. She's a spy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you're totally not understanding. I told you a million times what Stephen Avery people are. They are researchers. So this isn't a spy. This is because these are people who get involved in wrongful conviction cases and they fall down those rabbit holes and they find information people didn't know or hadn't thought about. That's not a spy. That's because, some people are pretty smart and able to find things. Yeah, Leanne, she's being investigated. and I don't even understand what's going on there about the, you know, Tammy does creative stuff with saying, you know, because Tammy's always saying, I've got X amount of companies. And it's like, having a Facebook page is not a company. And then, you know, like she'll say WMP Justice Review's got 45,000 people. She's one of those that she pays for them. You know, there's all these different things that you can pay for followers for YouTube and Twitter and Facebook to rack up those numbers, just so you can monetize. You got to spend money to make money. So she paid for those supporters. They're not actual people who watch videos and click on anything or like on anything, you know. And then it's like, I've got these companies. So she's got her publishing house that doesn't really do anything. So it's the Words Matter Publishing. And so then from that, she's got the WMP, which stands for the Words Matter Publishing Justice Review. And then she did the WMP TV, because that's another thing she'll always say, I have a TV network. Having something that's on Roku that I don't know a single person who is on Roku or knows anything about Roku, that's, you're not like, you know, NBC and saying you've got, you know, it's, to me, it's no different than I've got a YouTube channel. I don't know. So I don't know what's going on there. It's above my pay grade on how she has filtered money through that. She's takes money from Marnie's dad, and then I don't know. Sherry says, wait, she is actually making racist posts or saying all lives matter is what makes her racist, because those are two very different things for some people who aren't activists and don't understand but want to. Yeah, she was not saying something that's flat out racist. She kept doing the all lives matter and why are we concerned that this black person is killed by a police officer when this white person's been killed by a police officer? White people are killed by police too. She was doing that kind of thing. So I know a lot of people think that way, as is your right. But it's not the right thing to say. All right. And here's a general example. It's like, okay, it was my birthday the other day. So it's like me saying, oh, it's my birthday. And somebody going, well, I have a birthday too. You know, so by saying Black Lives Matter, you're not saying that all lives don't matter. It's just right now what is happening, and what has always happened to black people by law enforcement goes far and above what happens to white people. And so by saying Black Lives Matter, you're not saying white lives don't matter. Okay? That's, and so if Tammy wants to say those things, she can say them. But then she made that post on my page, and two black people then tried to explain to her. Isaac did not. Isaac called her, I don't know if Isaac called her a Becky or a Karen, and he's like, Jax, get rid of this Karen off your page. But my friend Michael tried to use it as a teachable moment, and she just doubled down on it and doubled down hard. And, and I told her to knock it off, to just stop, and she wouldn't. She kept making posts on my personal page. And she sees everything as a personal attack. So then by my friend Michael trying to do the teachable moment, and by me also telling her, Tammy, what you're saying is wrong, to me, that was, we were attacking her. And so she removed me. Jane says, I threw Carla's words back at her. Oops, and now it's gone. I've been yapping so much that you guys have commented so much that I can't, it just boots it up every time somebody makes a new one. Chrissy says she was convicting of murdering someone. What Tammy did, the one that she went to prison for 30 years for, is she and her husband were drug dealers. And so there was this guy they thought was a rat or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Tammy ordered him to be killed. And so Tammy was there when the guy was shot to death. And then Tammy was part of burning his body. So Tammy didn't commit the murder. She ordered it to be done. Now she claims she didn't, that she didn't know that this guy was going to be killed and that she just happened to be there, and that she then went to prison under the accountability law. Illinois. If you're Amanda, if you're asking what state is she in, And Amanda just sent me a friend request. Melissa says, I'm confused. Don't we all have the same goals and purposes with these groups and cases? Working together shouldn't have so much drama, right? I agree. It shouldn't. Shouldn't at all. But I'm going to call out bullshit when I see it. So, like in my original split with Carla, it's because they were turning this rally, and all I wanted for this rally to be was showing support for Steven. And then that's also, I had the petition for the juvenile interrogation protection law. So I wanted people signing that petition so that people in Wisconsin could no longer question juvenile without an attorney present. They were making it into this big show and money and all this and press and so the one girl getting mad because she wanted to be the only person talking to the press and was really upset when I was asked for my contact information, even though I'm the person who got the permit and everything and did all the organizing for the rally, so it was my name. I'm the one that's legally responsible for that event. She threw a fit that somebody asked me if I would talk to press. And then that's when Carla had said, well, if I wanted to, I could pull rank and tell you guys what you will and won't do. And I said, no, you can't. Can't tell me what I can and can't do. And then from then on, Carla was out to get me. Chrissy's saying, I saw it on TV. Jack says she is innocent, but I need to see more. Are you talking about Marnie, that you need to see more? Sorry, I can't see the prior things. Hi, Renee. Ken Kratz is responsible for Stephen and Brendan's convictions, absolutely, and the lies that he told. That press conference alone, in coming up with this weird story when he's the actual raper. I'm sorry, somebody who has his clients or the significant other of clients that you have to have sex with me for me to do this case, that's rape. Because she's not willingly having sex with you. He's a raper. Tammy, Janet Tammy from the WMP Justice Review that I was with. Um, Dude, why did Christy turn on you? Oh, are you talking about Christy, who used to be a moderator here? Oh my God, that's another crazy story. Oh my God, that's so crazy. Okay. We may not ever get to Brendan calls today with all this stuff. We've been on an hour. Um, so Christy first showed up here as Stephen Avery supporter, and she seemed to be very knowledgeable. And eventually I made her a moderator here, and on Stephen Avery project. She was somebody that I relied on. She was very smart and knowledgeable. And so the first thing she did is, because I advocate for those other cases. So she first moved in on the Kaluzinski case, like trying to buy Melissa's dad, and had like reached out to Melissa's dad. And she made the Kaluzinski family very uncomfortable. They didn't trust her, and they got really weirded out by her. So she didn't get far with the Kaluzinski family. So then the next thing that happens is another case, the Kent Pellegrini case. She moved in on Kent, started writing to him, which moved into phone calls, which moved into video visits, and then moved into where she would go visit him in prison. Now she lives in Georgia and Kent's here in Illinois. She's married to some oil rig guy, allegedly. And so he goes off for work and is gone for a long period of time. So whenever he's gone for work, she would take off and go visit Kent. And she moved in on Kent too by telling him that that she and I were really close friends, so that's why he trusted her. But it's like, I don't know her. I thought that she was knowledgeable on the case and everything, and she was good. I needed the help with moderators here. But I don't confuse knowing people on a computer as this is my friend. You know what I mean? So her deal with Kent is her deal with Kent because it's none of my business. And then she would tell me that she was in love with him. He's the one. She's found her soulmate. So she got gastric bypass so she could get thin for him. And then she told me she was going to stay married to her husband while Kent was in prison, and she'd be socking away money. So for when Kent gets out of prison, she and Kent could run away together. And all this stuff, and it's just like, this is really weird. I'm staying out of it, not my business. When I would talk to Kent, Kent wouldn't make it out at all like they were in a relationship, that this was just a friend. And she was starting to get very possessive, that all his phone calls had to go to her. Any of visits had to go to her. I don't know. Really weird. So now I'm already feeling uncomfortable about the whole Kent situation. And then somebody sends me a screenshot that Christy is now friends with Carla. And so it was a screenshot of them two being all buddy-buddy. And I was like, that's it. No. I cannot have somebody who is friends with Carla having access to Stephen Avery project, because we get, I don't know how many messages we get a day. We get people message Stephen Avery project like crazy, but we do get people who send tips. We get stuff from reporters, so stuff obviously I don't want turned over to Carla. For Carla to know those things. So no way. She can't have access to it. So I booted her. And so I did a Tammy. I booted her without saying a word. Just removed her as a moderator. I didn't kick her out of MAM Gossip. She could still be a member in there. But she was not going to have any authority, I guess. And so then that just pushed her further into Carla's clutches, I guess. And then she had this like love affair with that douchebag. What the fuck's his name? Chad Keller. Oh my god, that guy is one of the worst. And so at some point, she and Chad, she drove the two of them from Georgia to Wisconsin, where they spent the night at Carla's house. And they went on Brad Dassey's radio show. Chad also did a video talking about me. And there was some picture of him with some dude that I don't know who it is. And they're both giving me the finger like I care. So that's Christy in a nutshell. And I know somebody told me Christy said that I was trying to ruin her marriage. And it's like, I don't know anything about your marriage, nor do I care. Because I know what she told me about her relationship with Kent. And she's the one traveling the country with another dude and posing in pictures with either her arm around him or them holding hands. So that's all her. So that's the Christie saga. Okay, so people talking about when I had showed the painting. Sonia says, let's make a vagina back cartoon. Natalie says, so just to get this straight, Tammy wouldn't fight for somebody wrongfully convicted if they were black, or she has in the past. Does she support other races, colors, if they have been wrongfully convicted? She's not against. She's not anti people from other races. Her saying all lives matter and then using WMP Justice Review to where she had made a whole bunch of different posts doing why are we talking about this black person killed by a cop? Here's a white person who was killed by a cop. That's what it is. She would take, actually, she was looking for a case. Specifically, she wanted somebody who was black because she was doing, I don't know if you want to call it like affirmative action, but she thought it would look better if the Justice Review team had a black case. So, so she's not a racist in that sense. So, it's just, again, this the mine and Tammy's story is she did an All Lives Matter bullshit on my page. Black people told her that was wrong. I agreed with the black people, so she removed me from Justice Review. I think that's as general as I can make that. Debbie says, how do we go about stopping that yearly automatic payment to be in that group? Google it. Because somebody else Miley just asked me about that the other day. So we Googled it and I don't remember what we found, but we Googled stop automatic Facebook payments or something like that to find out how she could stop doing her payments there. Audrey says, late, who is getting investigated? That would be Tammy from WMP Justice Review. Gary, can I get my $10 back? Rhonda, bring vagina bat. Let's give him something to talk about. Let's give him something to talk about. Carolyn says, what's Tammy's last name? Koelling. Koelling. Or the name she was arrested under is Fyke. Fyke. Tammy Fyke. Yeah, there was the thing for there was a $10 payment that we had started this CI group that Tammy then abandoned. um, that it was supposed to be that people would be getting stuff from the case that you wouldn't be able to find anywhere else. And then she abandoned it. Thank you, Sherry. Paula, Tammy's not the lawyer. She's like the, I don't even know what her title is with Justice Review, the founder of the Justice Review. So, but she's got a lot of legal knowledge, not only because she was incarcerated for 30 years, so she's done her own time in court. She worked at the law library in the prison, and she also took classes, and she helped a lot of other women with their cases. So Tammy is quite knowledgeable with a lot of legal stuff, and she helps Marnie's lawyer with writing briefs and such for Marnie's case, not other cases. Melissa, people are people, and everyone is somebody's loved one. There should be no color in front of a person, my opinion. Sherry says, 2 months ago, I was completely naive to this, but it took some education from people willing to talk so I could understand, and those are the people who make a difference. Yep. Sonia, watch the George Floyd video and try to claim that all lives matter. It's so sick. China, corruption. I hate corruption. That's why I joined your group. Just, oh my God, West Memphis 3. West Memphis 3 is probably, would it be the first case that I got so deep into? John Benet Ramsey case, I really think it's her brother. But oh my God, Damien Echols. When I first heard that case, when that case was happening, so I am a heavy metal chick, hard rock, so Metallica, guys in, the Black Rock concert shirts and stuff. That's who I went to high school with. That's who I, or hung around with. That's my crowd. And so to see Damien and Jason Baldwin singled out because they wear black Metallica t-shirts, that got my attention right away in wanting to know about that case. If people have not watched the HBO 3, right? Paradise Lost. Oh my gosh, you need to watch Paradise Lost. Oh, that case. Melissa agrees that Black Lives Matter, and I understand they're tired. Does not agree with the Black Lives Matter. I'm not gonna get into it because that's why I said I don't want to get into all that stuff here, because I really don't want to divide our supporters now on the Black Lives Matter group. That's why I want to try and keep that out of this. You want to debate me in my activist group on Black Lives Matter? My activist Facebook page is called Friends Who March. You can find me over there and we can fight about it there. But that's what I don't want that, because I could fight each and every one of you that want to counter me on that stuff, but I really don't want it to be here. I just want this place to be about, wrongful convictions or, true crime cases, and not get into politics. I don't know if that article is ever coming out, Jennifer, on Tammy. But there are the two. I posted them on Justice with Jax. Watermelon on my mic still. There's watermelon on my mic still. Or are you just seeing the red light? Maybe you're just seeing the red light. Oh, that's probably what it is. It's the red light of that the mic is on. I'm not that much of a slob. Oh, and there's Leanne. It's a button. Yeah, no, it's not a button. It's just a light that my mic is on. Um, Maggie says, "Don't know if you saw my comments or not, so I'll repost it. I say yes to a Melissa live. I love her and don't really know her. I hope the investigation of Tammy doesn't affect Marnie's case. Do you think it will?" So Melissa's dad called me yesterday, flipping the fuck out because and Paul is so funny because he doesn't understand how Facebook works. And hi Paul, if you eventually watch this, because Paul does sometimes come in here and watch things. um so he's like, "What's going on with Tammy? I saw you put that article on my page." And I'm like, "Paul, I didn't put anything on your page." He's confusing your timeline and what you see on your timeline. Like everything that is on his Facebook timeline, like the person put that on his page for him to see. And he follows my Justice with Jax page, and I had posted the Tammy articles on Justice with Jax. So he's like, "I saw you put it on my page." I'm like, "I didn't put it on your page." And he's all kinds of concerned that he doesn't want whatever Tammy has done now and the stuff she's doing to mess in Lake County for it to have any effect on Melissa, because Nairheim, that's now going after Tammy, is the same attorney, state's attorney for, in Melissa's case. He told me he talked to Kathleen Zellner's office. He talked to Scott. Scott is like the office manager for Kathleen. And so that Scott is aware of what is going on with Tammy. And I've been advised to just steer clear of it, of the Tammy stuff. Um, I hope I can't see how whatever Tammy has done affecting Melissa's case, but if it affects Marnie's case, wow, Tammy would be mortified. But I don't understand, like in the Chicago Tribune article, she lies in that and says that she and Marnie weren't really friends in prison, and that's absolutely 100% not true. Why would you say that? I'm not understanding why you would say that. They were friends. Marnie refers to her as my BFF and talks about sitting on the floor and it's now, yes, when Tammy was getting closer to her release date, they moved her to another prison. Um so um so they weren't in the same prison any longer, but they absolutely were friends. So I don't know why she's saying they weren't. I don't really, and that, yeah, that's weird to me. And see, if you're gonna lie like that, and it's an obvious lie, it throws everything else that you say off. The boy who cried wolf, right? So, but I know Tammy would be mortified if now what she has done hurts Marnie. She knows Marnie is innocent, and she has been working very hard to get Marnie released. So that will be heartbreaking if Tammy's actions hurt Marnie. I'm just gonna hope it's not, that it won't. And, Marnie's lawyer, Jed Stone, is an excellent attorney. He has freed 10 wrongfully convicted people, several in Lake County. Jed is a lawyer in Lake County, so he knows everything going on there. So, mm, I don't know, Jennifer, if Christy is still with Chad. It's all kind of weird. And I guess Chad is now saying he's going to be in Wisconsin about the same time as our rally. Because I'm being told he's filming a movie on the case. He's doing his own documentary or some shit. I don't know. But I don't know if the two of them are together. See, I'm like the only person who doesn't go around stalking everybody else. I only know what people tell me. So if people tell me, "Hey, this," um, that's how I then know it, or send me screenshots of things. So I don't know what's going on with all of that. Hold on, let me see. My dog's barking their heads off. UPS at my door. Sonia says Brendan's calls are depressing anyway, so give more gossip. Yeah, and chances are now, we've been on for an hour and 15 minutes. We're at 2:00. I've got one of my bosses messaging me that I really need to do something work related, so may not be doing Brendan calls today, because when I'm done with this live, I gotta look at what he's trying to get my attention on. Ew. Emily, I'm your friend in your head. Yeah, Chad Keller was on the innocent side, but now he's a guilter. But then some people are saying he's just pretending to be a guilter. I don't know. See, that's so much stupid drama. What's the update on Kent's case? I don't really know where that's at. I don't hear from Kent anymore. Kent has a girlfriend. So, I don't hear from him. I know, well, no, I can't say. There were some developments that Kent had told me about a month or so ago that they were working on, which was pretty cool news, but I don't think I'm allowed to say. So, and I'm sorry, I know that's a douchebag thing. But Kent is trying to get released. And he's got 3 years left of his sentence. Jennifer said, Carla just mentioned Christy and Chad about them going to the rally. They must be best friends. Somebody told me Chad did something saying that Carla's his best friend. Yeah, okay, there's people talking about Chad a guilter. Christy ruined her own marriage. Sonia says, yeah, I am so making a MAM cartoon. Just wait for it. It will have a pink vagina bad hero. Yep. Carla is encouraging all of her guilter friends to come to the rally. Her guilter friends have RSVP'd yes on our event on Stephen Avery Project. One of them said that they were going to try and reserve all the rooms at the hotels, the hotel that I blocked the 20 rooms, that they were going to try and reserve all the rooms and then cancel them and all this stupid shit. And it's so funny how they want to sabotage it. I have never sabotaged their stupid rallies. I have told people they're stupid rallies, that I think they're stupid. How many times can I say stupid? But I don't do any of trying to sabotage their event. I don't care. Their mamathon, stupid. I tell people it's stupid. I'm going to tell you what I think. It's my page and I can do what I want to. But I'm not going to sabotage it. It's dumb. Whatever. Dano agrees with me that it's the brother that killed John Bonet. And how weird is that name, John Bonet? To name her after her dad, John Bennett. Just John Bonet. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, he was 9, but if you look into it, the kid was a little psycho. I absolutely think the brother did something. Yes, and I'm skipping anybody's comments on that because we're just not going to continue to get in there. Watermelon spot mystery solved. See? Again, the Making a Murderer researchers are the best. That you were able to spot this. Would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids. Here's my watermelon bowl. So I had already, there were like 2 pieces left in this one, so that's what I ate first. And then I started eating this one. So there's your watermelon bowl, Lilo. China says, had to be sophisticated killer with John Bonet in West Memphis. A garrote for John Bonet. Edward Wayne Edwards was. It's not Edward Wayne Edwards for West Memphis 3. I'm reading the rest of your comment, China. I don't think Edward Wayne Edwards is the big, well, the killed the amount of people that people keep attributing him to. Carol, am I going to continue to visit Marnie when you can? I don't think I'm welcome. Marnie had asked me. I had asked Marnie. Oh, my governor is live now. I wonder why. I had asked Marnie going into COVID, what can I do to help? And so she wanted some books. So I bought her the books she asked for, and I sent her the books. Emailed her and told her the books were sent, and she told me she was going to email me when she got the books. I have not heard from her that she got the books. And this is all around the time with the Tammy thing. So I'm going to assume, because Marnie, like I said, she refers to Tammy as her BFF. So I am not wanted. And that's fine. So it'll make it easier for me when I go visit Melissa. I absolutely will visit Melissa as soon as visits open back up. Melissa said in the email I got from her yesterday that she still hasn't heard about visits resuming, but they may start video visits. So she wants me to look at doing the video visits. So I have to register and pay and all that. But right now, or at least the last time she mentioned the video visits to me during COVID, they weren't available at her prison. So I'm going to have to look into that. And Melissa said, because she's always really concerned about things, she's like, even if visits were allowed again, she's not sure if she wants me or her parents going there during COVID. That she feels it would be safer if we just did video visits. But I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Yeah, a lot of people don't believe it was the brother. I can't remember what I watched, but just everything they were showing on the brother, and I'm just like, it's that freaking brother. I agree with you, Dano. Debbie is lying down with the cat. Oh, well, I guess what I will do, I could, because I've already talked to the Waupun police supervisor, to let them know that we were going to be having this rally there. And he was perfectly lovely. I have to call back the week of and give them a head count. And I'll obviously have to be telling them that the head count is doctored because of guilters trying to mess with it. So I won't know for sure how many people are going to show up. But I could also let him know about Chad Keller coming just to cause trouble. And I could print out when Chad called me a cunt and said he was going to punch me in the face. So maybe I should have that on hand if he's going to show up and punch me in the face. Bring drugs for Keller. Secret agent, double agent, man. No, you can't watch anything else. We missed the bat wings. It's out in my she shed, Cheryl. Okay, Nana saying, is the rally still on for Brendan also? Thank you, Nana, because, we need to talk about the rally. I don't know because, and thank you for the people who, so I was asking people about Oshkosh because in order to do a rally, you have to be on public property. You don't need a permit. It is your constitutional right for peaceful protest. Nobody can stop you from being there. You're a law-abiding citizen. There are no sidewalks in public road by Brendan's prison. So I don't know if that's something we can do, Nana. Courtney wanted to talk to me yesterday, and I was busy when Courtney wanted to talk. And then when I called her back, I didn't get a hold of her. I need to talk to Courtney because Courtney's Wisconsin local. I need Wisconsin locals to go to Oshkosh and go look at it and let me know if you think it's something that we can even do to go to Brendan's prison. Or do we just drive there and do the car caravan? Maybe that's something we could do, Nana, is that you just drive by the prison, nobody get out of their cars, and we can just do a once drive, honking horns and stuff. And, and people have signs and whatnot or writing stuff on your windows for Brendan. Maybe that's something we can do. Because, again, trying to be legal, trying to be as peaceful as possible, and trying to keep people safe in this time of COVID. So I'll talk to Courtney and Kim about it and see what they want to do. But as it stands right now, we're going to keep Stevens at Waupun from the 2 to 4. And I do have this sitting to the side here. Since I didn't get to shower, since I was so behind, I was going to just put this shirt on. But since I'm not showered, I made this shirt yesterday. Jeff designed this a while ago. So he made Steven's logo the phoenix because, the phoenix rises from the ashes. But because of Steven's love of cars and everything too, he made it like the Firebird from the car. A phoenix is a Firebird. So that's where that comes from. That's a Jeff design. So I made 2 tank tops for me with that on there yesterday. And I printed the 50 masks. The 50 masks have this same thing on there, but instead of it saying Free Stephen Avery on the top, it says Rally for Stephen. And then it also has on there the details, the date and the location of the rally. So there's only going to be 50 of those masks made. So it will be like a rally exclusive. I'm going to sell them for $10 a mask. If it's something that somebody, I have to ship it to you, that you're not somebody who's going to actually be at the rally. Because the whole point of when I said I would make the masks is, people be the socially distant, being safe in COVID. If you're going to wear a mask at the rally, you could have a rally mask. So if you're not somebody who's buying it there, and I have to ship it to you, of course, it's going to be shipping included. I said on a previous one that all proceeds from the mask would go to Stevens Canteen, so it would be minus the $100, around $100 that I have to pay for that, the material and blah blah. And so somebody's already donated the $100 to cover the cost. So now 100% of the money that comes in on these masks will go into Stevens' commissary account. So I'm bad at math. So it is 50 masks times $10 a mask. That should be $500 for Steven right there on these limited edition rally masks. People, if you want to order one, here's my Justice with Jax PayPal. Oh, now I got to scroll again so to get down so I can get to this. So I might lose comments again. So you could message me your shipping details. So you could put the 10 well, what you could do is you could message me that you wanted to buy one that I'm having to ship to you. And then, well, I'll have to ask Jeff what shipping it's just a mask, so it shouldn't cost that much to ship, but still. And then you would pay the Justice with Jax. But the girl that makes the masks for me, she is now out of town for the week. So she says she will have the masks done for me on the 21st, because I know there were people that were saying they would like to buy them because we want people to make signs that can't attend the rally and take pictures of themselves holding their sign, and people wanted to wear that mask in their pictures. I don't think we'll be able to get you the mask quick enough. Since she says she's gonna target, she says it's gonna take her 4 days to sew these. I don't know anything about sewing. And so, and then I have another friend who sews, and so I tried to butter her up to maybe she could get these masks done faster, and she said she doesn't have the time and couldn't either. So, but I went to Jeff's shop yesterday and they're printed, because she also wants me to, the girl that's sewing the masks, I now have to wash them all, and I can't wash it first before Jeff prints because the printing doesn't stay on as well if it's been laundered once already. So now I have to wash them with her special instructions, and they cut the fabric to be a little bit bigger to account for shrinkage. I don't know. I'm just doing what I'm told. So I'll be dropping off all these printed masks now to her house on Monday, and then she will let me know when they are done. So, but they're double-sided, so there's 100 pieces of the fabric cut. So it would be double-sided. The printing's only on one side, and then I bought the elastic for them also. So yeah, so those will be $10 each, and that $500 will go into Stevens' commissary. And I know that's something, I was sent screenshots again of Sandra trying to start drama of that nobody can put money on Stevens' commissary, because I had said, I'm like, I'll take the money that's made at the rally and I'll go right into the prison right then and go put it on his commissary, if that's something that's available. I totally understand in the time of COVID, the prison might not be open for me to go in and put the money on his commissary. But I know I was sent the screenshot of Sandy bitching that you can't put money in. It's getting serious. Get it. Then I'll do it electronically. Whatever. It'll go there. And then maybe we will sell some shirts also that just say free Stephen Avery with that logo. And we're going to do bumper stickers. So, but I haven't gotten that all worked out yet. So, let me scroll back on what I've missed. It looks like a mic pimple. Maybe I'm going to end up putting a sticker on there now. JonBenet wet the bed. That's a sign of abuse. Well, when, because there's times that I think it's the mother and think the mother freaked out because she wet the bed and it pissed her off. And she got violent with the kid and it accidentally killed her. And then I believe the family, like the father or whatever, somebody did the garrote or however you say that to try and cover it up. I don't know. Oh, Mickey's on keto. Keto Guido. Sonia, who's for eating it alive? I am not. I am sorry. It's because I was running errands and I didn't have time to eat my lunch before live. I thought about just not going live at the time I said I was going to and eat first and then go on. So, Sonia, next time I will do that. Speaking of Sonia, that's something else I want to make. Now, Jeff had designed the original Brendan logo, Dragonfly logo, which is tattooed on my leg. Oh, I'm so bad with trying to show you guys stuff. This thing here, this dragonfly. So I'm thinking of having him make something with that dragonfly that he made and with Sonia's guessing is not confessing. I love that, Sonia. That's brilliant. So stay tuned for that. Who burns bridges with supporters? Yep, Steven did. Heather, Burke smacked her on the head with a bowl of pineapple. Pineapple with milk. I'll always remember that. Is that a thing? I don't know. It sounds weird to me, pineapple and milk. File a restraining order against him. Trouble, idiots causing trouble. Well, back to my activism. You guys don't know the half of what I've gone through in my activism. I am not scared in the slightest, and maybe I should be. I'm just dumb, I guess, that I put myself in some pretty hairy situations, and whatever. Rachel says, car caravan. Heather asking if we can buy a shirt. Yeah, that's... I have put off doing it. Well, first of all, Jeff's never made any money on these shirts. Any shirts we've ever done has always been a huge pain in the ass. Jeff loses his ass on it. Because we've never done anything where Jeff makes a profit or anything, and actually he's been out money. And then we're always accused of stealing money from the whole thing. So it always ends up being this whole stupid drama thing, and I just never want to do it. But I think, yeah, we're gonna make some Steven and some Brendan shirts. I wasn't gonna do Brendan shirts originally, but this guessing is not confessing. I'm sorry, I'm like raving about it. It is brilliant. Leanne says, if Carla ruins this protest, the whole family are shooting themselves in the foot when it comes to helping Brendan and Steven when it comes to it. Yep. Sonia, nice shirt. Now show us one that says F you, Barb. Well, I just got a shirt yesterday from my friend Miley that I actually have sitting over here. Um, this shirt might offend some people, and again, we're not gonna get into this discussion. But I love this shirt that I just got yesterday. Ready? I love it. That shirt is so great. Mm. Um. mm, mm, mm. Yes, I mean shipping is additional. Tanya, always love the generosity of people. Yeah, when you see so much ick in the world and people taking advantage, and then you have that where she reached out to me. It was after right after Alive and donated the money. So 100% of the money will go to Stephen's commissary. Denise, we will be doing a live. We'll be doing live from the rally. If we do end up doing the car caravan only, then for Brendan's prison, we'll film some of that, and then we're gonna be doing a happy hour back at the hotel bar. So yeah, we'll have lots of lives both on Stephen Avery Project. They might originate from Stephen Avery Project. Stephen Avery Project, I go live there when we're just going to be doing something case specific that doesn't involve the bullshit. When it's stuff when we're going to talk about how the family's pieces of shit, that goes in gossip cuz it's gossip. You know, um I don't want Stephen's case colored with Chuck rapes all the females in his family. You know, Stephen Avery Project isn't going to be the one to be putting that out there everywhere. Do you know what I mean? So that's what gossip's for. It's not because, oh, I don't have the balls to say it publicly, because I so have the balls to say it publicly about what I'm told allegedly. Do I have to do that allegedly about Chuck? Um, but Stephen Avery Project just isn't the place for it. That's why I made this community. I needed an outlet for these kinds of things. So, maybe live on Stephen Avery Project and then get shared into here. But we will for sure do a special exclusive live in here. And then when it's done, it remains up here. So you're not watching it live, but you will be able to watch it, especially for those of you, Denise, like you in the UK, in the different time zones that you can't catch us live. So you'll be able to watch it. If you, Barb, on a mask would be glorious. mm. Bye, Carrie. Don't ruin pineapple with milk. Doesn't it sound weird? But that's what they were eating. Carol Fitzgerald. Just got. We'll talk about this later, Carol. um, a different Carol says there were a couple of docs on last night about the John Bonet case, and I am convinced it wasn't the family. Really? Who do you think it was? Not the Santa guy. Or do you think it was the Santa guy? Fuck Chuck. Janet loves a shirt. Take orders for the t-shirts. Have people prepay. That should minimize any loss of money. And Carol says, what? Carol says, no, do it. um, yep, I don't forget you guys in the different time zones. Now, remember, I don't do the math, so that's always difficult. Ooh, my divorce attorney just messaged me saying should get appraisal today and will forward to me and make a recommendation because that's the argument um, in my divorce that we've been separated for 7 years. Divorce proceedings have been going on not yet a year. He filed in the fall. Um, but my husband's trying to claim my half of the equity in the house that we have owned since 1998 is only $14,000. Bullshit. He's so trying to rip, and he lives in the house. Bullshit. So let's find out what the appraisal says. Melissa says, "Oh no, it was her mother." Yeah, see, I go back and forth on the mother and the son. That kid, I can't remember what it was that I watched that showed that kid was a little devious kid, and he got violent with John Bonet on several occasions. Burke, that's his name, right? Tara thinks it was a stalker. And okay, so while I'm on the John Bonet thing, those kid beauty pageants are creepy AF. And there used to be that reality show, which I watched. I watched all the reality shows. I used to have a website um, um, that was all reality shows. And so there, I can't remember what it was called. The 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 one with the beauty pageant kids, but it's like so all kinds of wrong. And I totally remember how they're supposed to stand a T, so their feet are T, and then they call this the cupcake hands because then their dresses are so big, so it's cupcake hands. I don't know, but the funniest kid beauty pageant thing. Have you ever seen the movie Bad Grandpa? If you don't like Jackass or those kinds of things, you won't appreciate it. Oh my God, Bad Grandpa and the child beauty pageant part. I mean, that whole movie makes me crack up, and I love the Jackass stuff too. Some of the stuff is really gross, and I can't watch it. I look away. But oh my God, I laughed so hard I couldn't breathe the first time I saw that. Let me scroll back. Hazel, the reason foul play added the word to the name. Well, thanks, Hazel. Rhonda says property settlement. Oh, joy. I'm waiting for my motherfucking money. My husband and we got married in 1992. I started dating my husband in 1986. I started dating my husband when I was 14 years old. Um, had my son in 1993. And it was decided when I had our son that I would quit working and raise our child. So I put in, my husband and I were married over 20 years before we separated. I want my money. It's been 7 years. Um, yeah, see, Melissa, I could go either way if it turned out it was the mom. Yeah. China, I think people use Edward Wayne Edwards like the boogeyman. And they think they see him like when people were saying you could see him at the courthouse and making a murderer, and it's not him. Ew. Here's my appraisal on my house. Sorry. Pause for appraisal. Sorry. Jesus Christ, there's just a lot of gobbledygook on here. Okay, I'll get back to that. We're almost done with this. Honey Boo Boo. I didn't watch Honey Boo Boo. That's not the show I was talking about. Um, yeah, Honey Boo Boo. Ugh. Toddlers and Heroes. That's what it was, Jen. Bing, 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 bing. Yep. Yeah, lives, China, they won't, people on a live can't post pictures a lot of times. I don't know. But you could probably you could post it in gossip, though. You could make a thread. Debbie's looking for West Memphis 3 case. Um, well, so Paradise Lost was on HBO. And it's on HBO on demand. So it's called Paradise Lost, and there's 3 episodes. Hello. Hey, what's up? Yeah, do you need me? I'm on a live, but I can end it right now. What do you want? Yeah, the guy did come yesterday. Now that you say that, do you need me to bring it to you? Okay. And I think UPS was just here while I've been doing this live. So, all right. Well, I was coming. I'm at the end of this anyway, so I'll end this and come there. Even though my boss is nagging the shit out of me to do something for work. So, but I'll do that and then do that. Okay. Goodbye. So we're at the end of this anyway, and I have to go. Because Jeff needs me to bring stuff to his print shop. So that's it for now. Putting me even more behind schedule. Well, I guess I need to find out what my boss wants me to do. And then I'll go to Jeff's print shop. So I don't think I'll be live tomorrow because I have a noon tattoo appointment. And then Friday I have to do a work thing from 2 to 4. So unless I decide to do a Friday night thing, um, because Jeff usually works Friday nights, or I don't know. I will let you guys know. Try to make a post as soon as I figure out what the frick is with my schedule and when I'll come live. So thank you all, and we will talk soon.